a broken.
Sorry, go ahead.
I had to get a broken filling fixed on my molar tooth today.
Oh yeah, you said your mouth might be numb. You seem
Yeah,
normal.
yeah, it's not numb anymore. I was eating some food and I ate a little jerky, but it's like the aftermath of the damage that I guess they worked on. So I'm like pretty sore on that one tooth, but it's all right.
Yeah. Dang. I know I just did that a couple weeks ago. My half of my face was numb. I felt like the guy from The Dark Knight, you know, the Harvey or whatever, the guy who had half of a burnt face. That's how I felt.
Yeah,
But
I had a little like a Rocky thing going on earlier where
mm,
like I had like that little list like, yo, Adrian.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Adrian, why does he say that so much? I don't get it. When I
A-
saw Rocky, I was like, what's up with that? Why does he keep saying Adrian? She's right there.
Adrian's the his wife's name.
I know, but why? Like, why did the movie end with him going, Adrian, Adrian? Like, it was just that was too
He's
much.
like fighting. He's fighting for her,
She's
and
there. She's fine. We're all there. She's not going anywhere. She's all about him. Like, he could just say her name one time or look at her and go, hey, like, what's up? Go on. You know what I mean? I guess there wouldn't be a movie then.
yeah.
All right. So I guess this is all the people who are joining because I think who else said that they were going to join? I just don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Jessica got in.
I thought I saw something from Ernesto.
Yeah,
He's
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 here.
on. Yep, yep, yep.
But Jessica's not on. Angelina's not on. But I don't know. She didn't say that. I mean, she said last week she was cool with Monday, but I don't know now at this point because I don't see her on. Um. Okay. So since you're the only one with video on so far, John, do you have any questions, comments, concerns?
No, I think I'm making good progress from when I first started. Wise. Still some challenges, obviously, not perfect on the carnivore thing. There's still a few
Yeah.
things that being that I probably shouldn't be eating, but um, I'm trying to get, more regular to eating the carnivore stuff. I think I'm doing a lot better than I originally started, my first week at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the thing about it is, I try to encourage you guys to be more rigid in the beginning because once you're on your own out there, it's going to be easier to fall into old habits and old ways of doing things. So if you start off more rigid and you get like better results, or you're able to wean yourself off of certain things that you're addicted to or whatever, then when you're out, and let's say you slowly start being more lenient, which is inevitable, it tends to happen to people when they're on their own. At least you have the core like training of being more disciplined and being more rigid with it, because when you find that you're not getting results, you know where to snap back to. um, but what I have found is for some people, they're allowed to, after a certain amount of time, to be a little bit more flexible with their carnivore approach and still get really good results. It's just not the case for people right off the bat. If you're trying to make a lifestyle change or you're trying to get significant results in the beginning. So once you get closer to seeing the transformation and the progress you want, then you can gauge like how flexible you can be with it, if that makes sense. So that's why I'm hard on you guys. It's not because I don't believe in balance or living your life. It's just in order to see change, you have to change things. Like you have to be willing to change things, and then you can decide how much you want to go back to how you were doing things before. But if you keep doing things the way you're doing things, you're not going to see that change that you're seeking out. So one thing that I wish Angelina was on here, because one thing she was telling me in her check-in, and she's been telling me, is that she'll go to the grocery store now and she doesn't even feel tempted by the things within the inside aisles anymore. She doesn't even look twice at it. It's like she has a weekly cheat because she does mukbangs for YouTube. She talked about it. So she eats a bunch of food on camera for YouTube and it's part of her income. And outside of that, she's not tempted by other things, and she's lost a significant amount of weight, a significant amount of inches, and she has been doing this for a couple months. So after a while, you will get to a point where you don't really crave those things anymore as much because you won't feel as gratified when you do have them. You're going to feel like a little off, or you're going to feel discomfort, or you're going to feel drained, and you're going to want to feel better, and you're going to want to go back to like how you were when you felt like you were on a good track. And it'll be motivating to kind of stay within the parameters of like the carnivore guidelines. So she's joining right now, actually. So that said, does anyone have any other questions, comments, concerns, things that they want to share?
Do you recommend how many grams of creatine do you recommend someone start taking?
I just do what it says on the container. So it says 1 tablespoon on my container. I do powdered creatine. So I just do 1. But the thing is, if you're eating a lot of meat, you don't really need to supplement really that much with creatine because you're getting a lot of that in your food as well. But whatever it says on the bottle, whatever it says on your container.
Because I noticed that the strength is sustained as so I'm gonna start like trying to push it heavier weight. It just I don't know, maybe a little creatine would like help with a little bit of boost.
Yeah, it could, and I would just say, like I said, whatever the suggested serving size is on the bottle or the container.
Okay.
But just know that you're gonna get a lot of that in your food, so it's not detrimental, but that's a big reason why on carnivore you're able to maintain muscle and a significant amount of strength if you eat enough food for your body weight. If you don't eat enough, you're gonna feel weak regardless of whatever kind of diet you're on.
So typically to build muscle, it's 1 to 1.5 gram per body weight, right?
It's roughly 2 pounds of meat a day for a man, but yeah. Two pounds of like meat, chicken, fish, whatever.
It's 2 pounds of meat. Each pound is at least what, close to 90 grams.
Not sure about that.
Yeah, because a packet of ground beef, which is 16 ounces a pound, is about 90 to 100 grams.
Yeah, I don't measure it like that. I just measure by the pound. So I do a pound a day, sometimes a little bit more. I don't do measurements anymore. I haven't tracked macros in about 3 years. So I don't really know, because back in the day I was doing by ounces. So I'd be 6 ounces per meal or 8 ounces per meal. Now I just grab a pound of ground beef in a package and I just eat the whole package. So but the doctors who have been like giving the information to me through the carnivore coaching program, they say that women should have about a pound a day at least of meat or whatever, and about a 1-to-1 ratio of protein to fat. And then as far as for men, it's about 2 pounds per day. But if you are somebody with more muscle mass or somebody who feels you need more food, then it could be a little bit more than that. But you don't want to have less than that, because then you'll probably be under eating. You'll probably feel like you're under eating.
Okay.
Unless you're trying to cut more aggressively, I guess, and you don't feel hungry. There are some days where fasting is beneficial too. So I'm not going to say like, oh, it's the worst thing in the world if you fast and you only eat like, at the end of the day. It's not the worst thing in the world. I know a few of the doctors who do that. But it just depends. Since you're trying to lift more, I think it's more important that you do that. For those who are not as active, I don't think it's as detrimental. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, it did. I just like to I don't know. I've always like, pretty much every nutrition book always talks about like grams as just like a good way, like a benchmark to have in your mind, like, oh, I have to, so you just do it by ounces. I mean, it's the same kind of technique, as just using a different measurement scale. That's all.
Yeah, I used to do it by ounces because that's how I was taught through macros, through tracking macros. I wasn't tracking by the gram. I was tracking by the ounce in my apps and on my scales and stuff. That's not the point of this though. The point of the actual carnivore diet, like, so And one big thing that I want to stress to you guys is that this isn't like a calorie tracking regimented type of diet. You kind of want to learn how to just eat when you're hungry and not eat when you're not hungry, and just eat within a certain guideline of types of foods. So you want to eat just proteins, things from animals, and your only carb sources should be essentially from vegetables and fruits, and that should be kept to a minimum, especially fruits, which shouldn't be more than one serving a day, um, because you don't want your sugars to get too high. Your body will eat according to what it needs to on a carnivore diet, because if you're not, the only thing you'll overeat is fruit. So that's why fruit isn't like encouraged or very important. But you will never overeat eggs, you will never overeat meat, you will never overeat chicken or fish. You just won't. You're just not going to eat anymore. When you're full, you're full. If you're still hungry, that means you didn't eat enough. So you can do all these like measurement things with the ounces and the grams and whatever, but you're kind of now venturing into a macro tracking approach or like a calorie counting approach, and that's not the point of this diet. If that's what you're doing, then you'd be going more into the realm of flexible dieting, and then you would have to be more meticulous about everything you were doing in that sense. This isn't that type of coaching. If it were, it'd be more high touch coaching, and it would be there would be specific numbers assigned to you, and it would be a lot more involved, I guess, for each individual person. I would have had you report back to me every single ounce and gram and so on and so forth, calorie that you were consuming, in order to give you feedback and help you and hold you accountable to that. But that's not what this program was. If it was, it would probably be priced at what my old coaching program was, which was about 2 or 3 times more than this, but it's just because it was a lot more meticulous and time consuming. So this is just to help you to understand how to be on a carnivore, whole foods, animal based diet without having to worry about tracking and everything. That was like kind of the whole point of it. And all my clients that did lose a lot of weight doing it were not tracking their macros or their calories or anything like that. So I can definitely do that, but that's a different type of coaching. If we want like to get more into macro tracking and counting grams and all that, because we can do that. We can obviously convert ounces and pounds into grams and set number goals and stuff, but we don't even have a number goal set for you.
No, I understand. I just in my mind, like I said, I just like correlating, like, oh, okay, if I want to like put 20 pounds more in my bench or something, like, oh, I need to eat X, Y, and Z, just so I know inherently, I don't have to like think about it. Like, that's just the way I've always done it. But I understand what you're saying, that you're training everybody to just eat animal products, eat when they're full, and live that lifestyle, not really focusing too much on the minutia of like carb counting and grams of protein and all that stuff. So
Well, I know a lot of really strong bodybuilders who do carnivore who don't count anything either. So they'll just put like 6 eggs in a cup and mix it up and then add a little bit of cream, drink it, go work out, then go throw a random size steak on the grill, maybe 2 of them if they're, really hungry or really big. Throw those down, and then later on eat something else if they're still hungry. That's just kind of like how it goes. And they're really strong. They're really fit and buff and lean and muscular. And it's what I'm trying to tell you is you don't have to do that, all that, like try to figure out how many grams of what you should be eating. Because in theory, it's not really measurable, like accurate. It's not an accurate thing anyways. When people do that, even when they track macros, it's not a proven method of like what works for you as an individual. It's just a guideline that helps you to stay consistent in something. So the reason why people need to do that when they track macros is because they're having carbohydrates and because they're going to have cravings and false hunger signals because of the types of foods that they're eating, because they're now using sugar for energy. So the blood sugar spiking and lowering causes that. When you have a carnivore diet approach, you don't have your blood sugar going up and down, and you don't have false hunger signals over time. So you literally just eat when you're hungry, and you literally just eat like what you need. So you can try to like figure out what the numbers are supposed to be, and most likely it's not even the case. So even if I were to assign you macros, it would just be a guesstimation based on like your height, your weight, your current calorie intake and stuff. But it's not your metabolism changes, everything changes based on your activity level, your muscle mass, and just like your current stomach, just how big and stretched out it is or how small it is and how fast your metabolism is. So that's one thing I've learned, and that's why I don't hold macro tracking in high regard, really. It's just something that's there to help people understand food volume and how much is too much to eat and how much is too little to eat and what's in what they're eating, period, if that makes sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I hear what you're saying. I'm not macro tracking by any means whatsoever. I'm just because I travel a lot. I'd like to know. Oh, okay, everybody knows, especially if you've been lifting for a long time or just working out. An egg is 6 grams of protein. A steak, typically a 6-ounce steak is going to be closer to 40 grams of protein. So it's just like I'm not like I'm on a calculator adding everything up. It's just knowing inherently
Right,
and
exactly.
like not even have to think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm not trying to like count every single gram of protein. I just like when I like travel a lot, I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm kind of hungry. Maybe I should eat, this, and that, and it'll meet my protein requirement or whatever.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I would say if you want to go by grams and things like that, then you might want to go by at least eating your body weight in protein, which is a classic approach to that. I think that'll equate to, over 2 pounds or at least 2 pounds, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much what I do. Yeah.
And that works. And that's fine. Because when I think about it, I eat more than my body weight in protein by like at least 30 or 40 grams a day. So I'm eating more than my body weight in protein. I haven't been lately because I wasn't feeling well. And there were a few other reasons why I just was under eating in general. But normally that's what I do. So I just make sure that I at least get my body weight in protein. And I know that I'm having over a pound of meat a day. So yeah, but that's my minimum is like, let me at least have a pound because I'm not eating other stuff. I'm not eating bowls of rice or oats or, you know what I'm saying? So that's, I'll tell you this though, even at doing that, like myself doing that, I'm getting like, I'm losing a lot of size because I'm not eating enough. So I could probably afford to even eat more than that. And it's because like if you're very active, then your eating requirements change. So a lot of times I'm using the information that works for my clients that are not very active on myself sometimes, and I'm like, what? Oh, I need to do more because I'm more active. So that's another thing too. So the more active you are, the more you can eat, the more you can get away with eating, and the more you can probably get away with a little bit more fruit in your diet or vegetables if you want, because you work out and you're burning sugar every time you do a workout. You're allowing your body to release, sugar stores or glucose. So that's good. You know what I mean? Some people aren't really working out, so they shouldn't do that. They shouldn't have fruit or honey or things like that as much. I had a guy in here. He was pretty fit, pretty buff. He was in his 50s too. And he would have to have like a little bit of fruit before he worked out and honey and stuff because he worked out and lifted every day. And he said he got stronger throughout the program. First he got weaker and then he got stronger. So that was good. But there's a little bit of a transition period. And every time you slip up and every time you kind of go back to bread or grains or things like that, you will kind of have to experience that shift again, sort of, you know what I mean? But your body will get to a point where it can switch to fat adaptation faster once it's more adapted to being in that kind of state. So for me, like when I am on carnivore and then I veer off and then I go back on, my body switches back and adapts faster at this point. So that's a good thing.
It's actually funny because now that you don't, we cut out a lot of like starches and like glucose stuff and stuff that turns to sugar right away. Like when you drink like a glass of red wine, you really taste and like you get more hungover, I think, because it's like more sugar that you're not used to anymore,
Yeah. I try not to do that. It makes me tired. So I try to go for like I'll make like a diet Mexican mule with like diet ginger beer and tequila and lime. or I'll do just like sometimes shots or just champagne because it's a little less sugary than red wine. And it's definitely, it hits you different. It hits you a little faster. You do taste things a little bit more, so that's true. Whenever I eat anything that's not in adherence to the diet, it's too much. Like I got this shake at Disneyland. I drank this much of it, but just to review it, it was so much. It really upset my stomach, but it was like not even enjoyable sweet. Like I would have enjoyed fruits more than I would have enjoyed that. And that's where I'm at now, which is funny because you can get to a point where you don't taste anything ever. So when you have stuff like that, it's not even like, it doesn't even affect you. Like sugar, soda, shakes, whatever, you're like so used to it that it doesn't affect you versus when you take it out and you adapt to not having it and then you try to go back to that. It's just, it's
It's
almost,
disgusting.
yeah, it's gross. It's really gross.
Like I don't know how little kids eat all that crap, and it's like they just like love it, but it's like so bad. It's, I don't know, just because the carnivore like it just like takes you off of it, like
Mhm.
you have no desire to eat it.
It's good not to do it at our age as not being kids because this is when all the like illnesses start popping out, right? And we're bringing them on. We're bringing them upon ourselves with lots of sugar and lots of vegetable seed oils because those cause inflammation. So if you can keep the inflammation down in your body, you'll feel better in general for longer. And you don't want to like have a bunch of weird ailments and health problems popping up, if you can avoid them. So yeah, it sucks.
Carnivore almost makes you like not really enjoy like going out to eat because like for example, right on I think it was like Saturday or so, I went and got like these birria tacos, right? And
Mhm.
it's like instead of tortilla, it's like cheese. But like like they cook it in like the cheapest oil and all this stuff, right? So
Yeah.
like you're tasting it and it's like it just doesn't taste as good as like putting a steak in an air fryer or something. You know
I
what I mean?
agree.
Like
I honestly agree because the thing is, when I eat that kind of stuff too, I get this like sludgy kind of feeling in my gut.
exactly. Yep, yep, yep.
It's the feeling almost. It's not so much the taste. It's like whatever. The taste is whatever. The taste is
Yeah.
good. It's fine. But it's that like feeling that hits you that feels like nasty. You know what I mean?
Just
And
weighed down.
yeah, but it's like you were blind to it before. It's not that you're doing anything wrong by not having it in your diet, if that makes sense. You're just blind to it because your palate's adapted and your stomach's adapted, and we even adapt to feeling not our best.
Mm-hmm.
So it's cheesy, but it's actually proven, like it's measurable. Scientists can measure your health levels and everything like that, and they have, and it's actually measurable that you go from a certain lower level of health to a heightened level of health. And it's just like once you experience that, you can see the difference and then you can feel the difference. And then you're like, ooh, maybe it's not really worth it to do this very often. And when I do, it reminds me of why I don't, if that makes sense. Now, if you
Yeah.
can stay consistent in that over time, inevitably anyway, your inches will go down, your weight will go down, your muscle will stay up on carnivore, especially if you're lifting, because of the amount of protein and creatine and all the things that are naturally happening because of what you're eating. But the thing is, like, you're inevitably going to lean out. You're going to lose unnecessary body fat. Your body will go through fat stores that it has, and that's good because you don't want to be you don't want to have too much body fat and fat on your organs and things like that because that's harmful to your health. So it's a good thing. It's not really a vanity thing. It's just the way that people get intrigued or feel motivated is because of how they feel others will perceive them if they get more fit. But it's really important because if you look better, chances are on the inside you're doing a lot better too. So that's never a bad thing.
No, it's just weird when you go to restaurants and you know they use like the canola oil or the vegetable oil. You can like taste it. You know what I mean? It's like it just ruins them. It ruins kind of like going out and eating because it's like it's not as good or it's not as fresh as what you're gonna make at home. You know?
I know, trust me, when I go to Mexican restaurants and they give you the chips and the salsa, I love salsa, but it's just like the chips are so oily and I know they need to stop.
Yeah.
Oh man. And yeah, it's not great. But um yeah, that's why it's better to try to healthify the things that you think you're craving too. Sometimes it's feeling like you know, you want something different, just try to think of a way to prepare that same dish, but like without certain ingredients that make it more harmful. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Is ceviche considered carnivore?
yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I mean, some carnivores don't eat any vegetables, but I think it's fine as long as you're not spiking your blood sugar. Personally, I think it's fine. But it's just because some people on carnivore are doing it because they have sicknesses already that they're trying to mitigate or like heal. And when you're doing that, then you need to eliminate pretty much everything. But if you're just doing it to be preventive or to do it for aesthetics or strength or whatever, then yeah, you can do that and it won't hurt your progress. I was eating it a lot for a while. I like it because it doesn't. It's very. It's super low carb. It's pretty lean too, and it's very flavorful. So the only thing is you want to eat it without crackers or tostadas or chips. So you can do that. Which I would just eat it with avocado, and I thought that was good.
Yeah, it's almost like a seafood, like a seafood, like a, what's it called? Shrimp cocktail.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, do you have any other questions, Ernesto?
Hard liquor or beer? Which one should I stick
No
with?
beer, no beer. Liquor.
No beer.
Whiskey, tequila, vodka, white tequila, white vodka, or whiskey are fine. You can do any sugar-free mixer. You can do brut champagne. Do not do beer. Just don't do it. And then even those light beers are so acidic, they're probably going to give you heartburn and acid reflux. So I wouldn't.
Because every Sunday when my friends invite me to go watch a playoff game, I'm like, oh fuck. All right, I guess so. Whatever. I get a Michelob Ultra or something.
Make yourself a freaking. They can make fun of you. Make yourself a Mexican mule with diet ginger beer. Diet ginger beer, tequila. It's gonna be way stronger than their beer. And lime. There you go.
That's true. I was just gonna do whiskey on the rocks, like
You do that too if you want. I'm just telling you my favorite thing.
Okay. I'll try it. I'll try it next weekend.
All right, cool beans. All right, Ivan, do you have any questions? You're muted.
Not at the moment.
No? Okay.
No.
All right. Angelina, anything you want to say? Any updates, questions, concerns? I was actually talking about you and how you were talking about how you don't feel affected by the stuff at the grocery store anymore.
Yeah, I don't, I'm a foodist, but I don't crave anything. It's just there. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think when I screw up, it's usually because I'm hungover and I'm too lazy to make something. Or that's pretty much it. Other than that,
Same.
Yeah, I know. You know, it reminds me of like the first time I ever talked to you and you told me what you did and how you were concerned because you like food is your job and it's so important to you and how you didn't think you could make it work. And like, I'm just pretty shocked with the outcome pretty much.
yeah, I didn't think it would go that well either. And I'm the most inconsistent person you'll ever meet. But I don't know, it no se me antoja anymore. So that's good.
Not too bad though. You've been sending in your check-ins and everything. And that's the thing I have a hard time with people is just like them staying accountable to that.
I started writing it as it was happening because if I didn't, by the end of the week, I'm like, oh my God, what did I eat? And I'm like looking back and I'm trying to think. So now I've been writing it every day. So I remember.
That's smart because if you try, I can't remember what I ate yesterday. I don't know how you do that. Yeah, that helps a lot. But I think you did good. I think you're consistent enough, and you actually got great results, by the way. And I'm happy you're working out again. But without working out, even that was pretty good. It's pretty good.
And then when I go out, like my husband twice was like, "You want to go out?" I'm like, God damn it. So then the one time I went to a buffet, I just got like what I thought was the best items, and then I went to Applebee's and I got a steak.
Mm-hmm.
I got wings. I got green beans and broccoli. He got potatoes. I said, "Girl, don't be getting those potatoes." And he was like, "I want some potatoes." So
yeah, no, I mean you can do your best. It does make a difference. Sometimes things aren't going to be perfect when you go out to eat. They'll be like breaded or cooked in certain oils, or they'll have sugary sauces. But if you're at least reaching for higher protein things and less carby things, you're already doing a lot better. So those choices make a difference. If you're sitting there and you're thinking like, oh, should I order the spaghetti or pasta? or should I order, the steak salad, and you get the steak salad instead of the spaghetti or pasta? I promise you, those choices add up so much, because that spaghetti and pasta would probably cause water retention for 2 to 3 days and maybe trigger other cravings and like other problems, like stomach problems, and then like spiral into, just eating whatever. And a lot of times people don't realize that, because then you set your own personal standard of what you're going to let slide and what you're not going to let slide. So if you always let things slide, then you'll always continue to let things slide. And if you say, no, you know what, I don't order dessert when I go out to restaurants, which sounds sad, but you'll be fine. Trust me, I'm a dessert person. I would rather eat dessert than an actual meal. But I started telling myself like about a couple years ago, no, I'm not going to order dessert after I eat, especially if I'm not hungry anymore, just because. So I stopped doing that, and it made a big difference for me, even that. And I used to like just have to order it because like it was there and it was an option. So now that I got used to saying no, instead of always saying, yeah, I want dessert. What's for dessert? What do they have for dessert? Now I say no. So when I do have dessert on, random odd occasions or whatever, it's because I'm consciously choosing to do it and it's something I really want, rather than by a reflex, me being like, yeah, I'm going to order dessert at the end of my meal by default, even if I don't like what they have on the menu and I don't even want what they brought,
Yeah.
So, but I think it's cool. I think it's good that you were able to still order well while you were out and trying to be intentional, and that you started logging as you went along, that you started working out again. And I think that if you keep going, you're going to get to that point where your like body composition, it changes and is like more, especially now that you're working out, more muscle, less body fat. Then whenever you're doing your mukbangs, it's really not going to affect you. You're probably going to be able to utilize some of that food and calories into your workouts too, and into like, just like I said, your ideal body composition. So
Another thing, and it's kind of like I sound like bitchy, but
what?
you notice when other people are getting something, like, oh my God, you're like, damn, that's a lot of sugar, dude. Like they'll walk by with something, and my daughter works at Starbucks, and I'm like, she's like, you want something? I'm like, no, man, no, nothing. No, bring me a water, like. And she'll bring me something, we try it, and I looked it up. It was like 84 grams of carbs. I was like, dude, fuck that. No, thank you. Like that's too much for me.
Dude.
And like my cousin, she's like, a dieta, like on Instagram, and then she'll have her cafe con like 10 pounds of sugar, and then her freaking pan. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? Like I hate that I notice every little thing that.
True, but that's the problem. No, that's the problem though, because nobody notices and no one cares. They're like, you're so used to like your standard being, I want whatever I want. I want whatever I want. I want whatever I want. So you go to Starbucks, you get a venti frappuccino with 85 carbs in it because it's pure sugar and a little bit of coffee and cream. The funny thing about that is you might as well just not even get it, because the coffee factor, the thing that coffee does to give you energy, is canceled out by all the dairy and sugar when it comes to the energy spike and crash. So it's like counterproductive for energy, caffeine wise. You must just like the taste of coffee with sugar.
No, I have an espresso, and I could tell you that amps me up more than the other thing, and I don't put anything in it. I just make the pod and that's it. Let's go.
I'm telling you, I don't know how people get, those chai tea, little tiny chai tea, like the small size chai tea, lattes or whatever. Yeah. Those have like, the small is like 45 grams of sugar. The big one's like 70 grams. And I know
the refresher was like 78. I was like, dude, I ain't refreshed by that. No thanks.
I know. Isn't that when I drink sugar, I get more thirsty. So I don't know anybody who's telling me, I haven't drank sugar in years, but when I drink sugar, oh my gosh, I was on a road trip with my grandma and she got a regular Coke, and it was my first time trying Coke in 10 years, sugar Coke. I was like, and this is supposed to be the best. It's McDonald's, right? They have the best Coke. I was like, oh my God, like, that was disgusting. Get that away from me. That's disgusting. But I used to drink soda after school every day. I loved it up until I was like 19 or 20, so, or 18, I don't know. Yeah, like 18. But that's just crazy to me. Like, it's you gotta watch it, but everybody doesn't pay attention to this, and this is why we have such a problem where the weight goes on so fast, so easy, and it's so hard to get it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if you're making that choice 6 times a day with your Starbucks and your this and your chips and your that and whatever, and your snack and this, dude, every day. It just adds up, adds up, adds up, adds up in your body, and your body doesn't need all that. Like it really can't do anything with that much sugar or that much of the omega-6 oils that which clog it up, or it can only get rid of so much so fast. So sometimes we take in more than we can get rid of, and that's the problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel a little bitchy about that, but like, hey, whatever. And it's funny. I'm like counting in my head, like, holy shit.
But what's bitchy
Looking
about
at other
that?
people's stuff.
What's bitchy about that though? That's okay. We need more people to be aware of what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like people are not taking responsibility or aware of what they're doing, and that's not bitchy. That's good that you're aware of that. Like that you opt out of it. Obviously, it's not polite to like interject into people's existence with your preferences and be like, don't do that. Hey, especially being a mukbanger. But
I know.
like trust me, people look at me and they're like, you go to Disneyland and you eat stuff there. They don't even know. Like most of the time I give my stuff away. I throw it away. People get mad at me, but I'm like, well, I'm not a garbage disposal, and that was nasty. But you know, I do it for the sake of like the content in the channel, but it's not something that like if I'm really not liking it, I'll finish my churros. I love my churros, but like it's not, people think that I'm over there just gorging my life away. Trust me, I'm walking 15 miles and I'm freaking having 2 sips of this, 2 bites of that. And if it's really, really good, maybe I'll finish something. But you know, it's I think it's okay. It's not bitchy. You shouldn't feel bad that you look at something and go, wow, that's horrible for you. I don't want that. Like that would be horrible for me. I don't want that, you know?
Yeah.
I wish more people were aware, because if you think about it, when you go around, more often than not, when you look around, when you're in a public space, you're seeing a lot of people who look like they neglect their health altogether. It's just apparent. It's very obvious. It's not something that you can hide or lie about. You know, it's just, it is what it is. So that always bums me out, especially when I see people who I can tell are in their 30s and 40s and they're like really just letting it all go, you know? It's just because that's just still really young. So yeah, but I'm glad that you guys are taking charge of it. It's not ever too late. Okay. I've seen somebody go from 500 pounds to like 220 or something like that. So, and I've seen, you know, less extreme cases, but for anybody who feels like it's too late, just remember there are people who are like, let it go that far and they still had to find a way to bring it back without surgery even, which is actually kind of hard to do and it takes a while, but it can be done. So
How do you reveal those foods if you already know that, like when you taste it, like your taste buds have changed, so it's like maybe to the masses it tastes good.
I always tell people that it's just my opinion and they just want to eat it. And I'm like, hey, you like this? I hate it. But I also like, you know, things too that a lot of people like. So there are things that I like the churro, I give it a 10 out of 10. I love the churro. You know? And like
Beignets.
yeah, I love the beignets. Like I love the beignets. I'll give those a 10 out of 10 too. I eat those and I feel like I'm gonna faint because they're so good. You know what I mean?
I don't know about faint, but yeah, they're good.
But then
really good.
yeah, and then there are things that are underwhelming and disgusting, like the green apple churro with the sour green apple churro was disgusting, and anybody else who tried it pretty much said the same thing. I don't think I met one person who liked it. And you know,
sounds pretty nasty.
It's disgusting and it's horrible. And then as far as like, you know, certain things like the pizza, right? If the pizza tastes like, you know, freezer aisle pizza or something, I'm gonna say like, but if it's good, it's good. You know, if it's creepy, it's creepy. Some Disneyland bloggers like everything, and I think they're tripping. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I go. I'm not so much focused on food anymore. For one, it's just really expensive. Two, I just don't want to eat all that stuff. Like I don't want it. But sometimes if you send me money for stuff, I'll do it. Like, you know, I'll get it. But it's for the sake of the experience more than anything.
Do they have carnivore stuff there?
No. I was looking. I swear to you, I was looking. Everything's like fried, breaded, glazed in sugary sauce. The only things that I found were Bengal barbecue, because you can get the sauce on the side too. But Bengal barbecue skewers and any of the steakhouses, pickles and other things on the sides, like, you know, just like the little natural things. But as far as like main dishes, everything comes with a carby thing, or is breaded, fried, and sugar glazed. So not really. I know it's pretty unfortunate.
I had a
Sucks.
I had a turkey leg. They
Yeah.
sell
You like
hearts.
those? Do you
Huh?
like them? Did you like it?
I devoured it. Yeah, so,
I think
it
they're
was all right.
really salty and dry. I don't like them at all.
It was all right the day I went. There was a lady complaining that hers wasn't that great, but they're making all the same little cart in the same time ever. So I don't know.
I don't know. I heard that they make those turkey legs like they're not an actual turkey leg. So like
You- They put it together
yeah, like that's why that they have the weird texture and that
like a
all
chicken nugget.
out. Yeah. I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, the
Um,
Bengal
I don't know
barbecue.
about-
Sorry, what were you saying, John? The Bengal barbecue, what?
That was pretty good. Yeah, I had the chicken skewers and the beef skewers.
Uh-huh.
Those are just kind of small. They only give you 3 on a stick.
Yeah,
It's-
they're so tiny. I
I
have
was like,
like 5 or 6 of them.
man.
I'm not even kidding.
yeah,
They're like, are they like $20 each, Sean?
No, they're like $5.
Oh,
They're like really cheap, but they're just like small.
it's literally like half a bite is like each little piece, and they stick 3 of them on one skewer stick, and it just doesn't seem like much. So
It's not, but they're
Shit.
really good. I think they're really good, and I
uh,
like to get them with without the sauce, and get the sauce on the side because the sauce is really sugary. But yeah, I don't know. The turkey, I don't really like them. That's why I don't recommend them because they're really expensive, and I don't really like them.
I did the same thing, or Angelina does, I guess, at the store. So I skip most of the inner aisles except for the spice one. So that way I can get more spices at the house. But I didn't go down the cereal aisle, which was shocking.
That's
But this
good.
lady behind,
Then you would just have to throw it away.
yeah, this lady behind me with like 2 kids, like she had like 30 boxes of cereal, and I was just like, God, I used to eat all of that. So,
Yeah, dude, it's great. It tastes delicious. I love it so much. If I ever have a cheat meal, sometimes I'll just get some Lucky Charms too. But it's the equivalent of eating ice cream every day. Like it may be worse because there's all the stuff inside of it. I don't know, equally bad. But like the thing is, some people make that a staple, and it's like it's something that you shouldn't really do. You know.
just thinking about all the days I ate cereal as a kid and then went to school like I was gonna do something.
Well,
It's
that's not your
crazy.
fault. It's the food pyramid. Like, so our food pyramid, there's a bunch of research and things being exposed about our food pyramid and just the way that it was formulated, and it was all political. So it was just based on like, consumerism, sales, even certain religious aspects. The intent was to lower male testosterone, and it worked. It's actually worked. So over the generations, testosterone is lower in men, and young boys and males now than it was, and it has a lot to do with our food and our food pyramid and just the way that they manufacture food in general. It's really sad. So yeah, Kellogg was there was an intent of lowering male testosterone. Let's just put it that way. So
The one that makes soy boys, is that what you're saying?
yeah, pretty much.
Damn.
aside from like Fruity Pebbles and Lucky Charms, which was like the dominant cereal we had growing up, our mom would buy Rice Krispies, thinking, okay, there's no sugar in it, but we would bury that thing where it was like drowning in sugar
Yeah,
in order to
Pour
that
it.
cereal, because they're like, I
Yeah.
could eat plain. And she would buy it because she would make those little like Rice Krispie treats, which were pretty bomb.
Mhm.
And but the only way to eat that cereal was you had to like smother it in just sugar in order to eat it. And
Yeah, that's what I would do with Cheerios because I was like, I'm not eating these plain Cheerios. Ugh.
yeah, it goes to you. Yeah.
You gotta make the milk sugar milk so that it was bearable. Yeah, and Frosted Flakes, woo, or that Frosted Life cereal or like anything in Frosted. That's fine.
Mhm.
I used to love with Trix. Oh yeah, Trix.
What about Captain Crunch?
Oh my God, yeah. Captain Crunch, delicious. My friend made some. Oh, when I first started carnivore, this was horrible. It was 4th of July. This is when I was really sticking to it. I had been 20 pounds up for almost a year and I couldn't lose my weight. And I was like, I got to commit to this. And I did. And I'm glad I did because I lost the 20 pounds. But I was like in my first few weeks of like maybe my second month of carnivore. And I was trying to be really strict because I started just eating steak and then I started adding other things in. And my friend made these Rice Krispie treats with Captain Crunch, and I didn't even know you could do that. So instead of Rice Krispies, it was Captain Crunch, and I was
Damn.
staring at it and smelling it and dying inside and crying inside, and I just didn't do it. And I was so proud of myself, but like it was hard, And it's because I made the absolute rule, like don't do that because you killed all your cravings already. Like you're already past the hard part, and you're early in. Like stick with it, and dude, I still regret it to this day. Get to try them. No, I'm just kidding.
But regular Captain Crunch or Barry's Captain Crunch? Which one?
Well, Captain Crunch without berries is not Captain Crunch. So
What?
Agree.
we need a mixture of both. Okay, we need like the little square things and the berries.
Cut the roof. They cut the roof of your mouth, and it
Yes.
tastes good.
But you know what, guys? I'm gonna tell you, like, fruit tastes really good to me now. It's amazing, actually. I love it so much. I would suggest sticking with melons because they're water dense, or when you do have them, or berries because they're lower glycemic. But they taste really good now to me too. And sometimes I'm eating things and I'm like, fruit would be fine. Fruit would be fine, rather than this or that. Like if I go to Chick-fil-A, for example, I don't get the fries, but sometimes I'm not satisfied with the grilled patty breast on lettuce or like the double grilled patty breast or whatever. So I'll get like their side of fruit, which is a very small cup of fruit, but it's like really good. And I'm like, yeah, this is delicious. Like, I don't know. Stuff like that just tastes extra good now.
With or without tahini?
Huh?
With or without tahini?
Oh, it depends on if I have it or not and what kind of fruit's in there. But but getting a diet soda helps too, because I think the bubbles make everything feel more filling. But yeah. Guys, I gotta get off in the next 10 minutes. Do you guys have any other pressing matters to discuss? Any questions, comments?
I just have one question about cooking. So like sometimes I make like a crock pot, like a let's just say like a short rib stew, right?
Mhm.
And then like if you is it better to put it in the fridge, let that white layer of like fat accumulate and then cut that out, or is it better just to mix it all in?
You can mix it. I mean, you're not looking to lower your fat intake necessarily, just your carb intake.
Okay.
Just a matter of preference. What do you like better?
I don't know. It tastes little. Sometimes it's too much, but yeah, because the meat's kind of fatty as it is.
Take it out if you don't like it. I don't know. I don't like to eat the burger fat when I cook my burgers. I just let it. I like smash it out and then
Oh.
Yeah. But I do recommend that if you guys haven't yet, which is really smart of you, John, to make your jerky the way that you do. If you start making your own jerky, it really comes in clutch. I love having my own jerky with cheddar cheese. Like it's a snack that I like to have. So
I got a cup of jerky that I made in a cup. So while I was working today before I had my teeth done, I just been like nitpicking at it.
Yeah, it's really convenient, right?
Yeah, which is better than like those little Crunch bars and Hershey Kisses and other little snacky things that I probably shouldn't have been eating.
Yeah,
so,
way better, dude. Don't even go.
So, but it doesn't last long. Like
No, it doesn't.
For what I made, like which was basically like 2 small racks worth, like it's gone like within 2 days.
Oh wow, mine would be gone in 1 day. I'll make 2 pounds of jerky and eat it all.
Not quite that quick then. It's like, it still feels like quite quick. So
yeah. But that's why having the dehydrator helps. I think the dehydrator I got it was just a generic one on Amazon. It was like $50. I use it a lot. Yeah. But yeah, does anyone else have any questions, comments, concerns? I think everyone who did send me a check-in, I got your check-in back to you yesterday. So if you guys don't have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me the remainder of the week on Voxer, unless you were continuing and I already know of that. then I'm going to be starting a new thing next week. We're actually in our final week now, so I hope that you guys feel more confident in what you're doing. It's really just a matter of staying consistent in these really, really simple guidelines, and you do see progress and change over time. I think Angelina is a good example of that because this is her second month of carnivore, I believe, or well, her second month with me on carnivore. She was trying to do it beforehand on her own, right, Angelina?
Yeah, and that's my husband's diet because of diabetes and stuff. So
Mhm.
I always feed him that way. So it's not hard for me to just eat the same thing, you know?
Yeah, not anymore, but you did have a lot of hesitation at first, I'll tell you.
Yeah. No, it's just, we want what works the fastest, but it's not like that. It didn't take me a month to put it on. It's not going to take me a month to take it off. So it's fine.
Exactly. Remember that, everybody. Remember that. You got to stay consistent and you got to trust the process, because whatever you have going on right now, you didn't get that overnight, and you're not going to get rid of it overnight. But if you're consistent, you'll see change. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Angelina. Anything else?
No. I hope I keep shrinking. Like, I don't even remember what it was like, but prior to mukbangs or anything. So now I'm just like going through the motion, like hoping for the best.
Yeah, no, keep going. This is very good for you. This is gonna help you to slow down your aging, and even you could even reverse your aging a little bit. You can definitely shrink down or all that, but like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think about my body, and it took 10 years for it to be what it is now. But when I first started, I didn't have nearly the same shape or weight distribution. I remember my thighs were the same size as like my shins and my calves, like that area. They were like the same size. And I remember my waist looked wider. I didn't have like the curve appearance because I didn't have any lats. And my glutes just got bigger because the more that I worked them out, the more they kind of like expanded. So all that happened through years and years and years of being consistent. It didn't really all happen overnight. Maybe people could say like, oh, you have the frame for that shape or whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I know my measurements, and I have some pictures, even though social media wasn't really a thing for me back when I started. I didn't start my social media page until I was a few years in. So it's hard for me to pull up like pictures before I ever started lifting, but I find some family pictures here and there. And then I have my measurements from my mom's wedding when I was like 17. So that's a good reference. But all right, guys. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up. If you guys have any questions, hit me up on Voxer. But other than that, thank you for showing up today. Thank you for checking in, and good job. Keep up the good work. It's super simple. What's up, John? You got something to say? Oh, can't hear you. Can't hear you. John? I gotta get off, you guys. I gotta train somebody right now. John, are you there?
Hey, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah,
Gotta make
I
it
don't
quick,
hear
John. You
you.
gotta get off.
Oh, there we go. I got another work call that is out the other line, so I was gonna drop off.
Oh, okay.
But,
Cool.
yeah, I was kind of juggling back and forth, so sorry about that.
No, you're good.
All right.
Yeah, so I'm just signing off. Did you have any other questions? I gotta train in like 2 minutes. Somebody's gonna knock on my door right now.
So
Yep,
what? So
no
next
worries.
next Monday is the last check-in.
So this was the last check-in. This was
this
the
one.
first check-in. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I know they go by fast, huh?
Well, I think I'm continuing one more month. I think.
Yeah, you're good, but this is the last check-in for this group.
Got it. All right. Thank you, Jordy.
No, yeah, that's why I said unless you were continuing and we already established that, then yeah, you're continuing on in my next group that I'm starting in February.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
So I'll talk to you. I'll just start you in the new Voxer group, and then you continue to keep checking in. All right.
Cool. Got it.
Okay.
All right. Have a good one.
You too. What's up, John? You have any
Cool.
last words?
Thanks. Yeah. See you later.
Bye, John.
I guess that's the same too, right? So this Friday I'll do my check-in, and then come next Monday, I guess you'll send me the new updated information for the next Boxer.
Yeah, did we signed you up for 2 months? I'm sorry if I don't remember that.
No. I think we were talking through email
Oh,
about
that's right.
continuing.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, I don't have you listed as one of my continuing, but that you were just inquiring about it. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to continue, you can continue on for 99. That's what Ernesto did. He just signed up right away, right off the bat. He paid for 2 months, so that's why. I already knew he was continuing. So yeah, if you want to continue, I'm gonna start a new group next Monday, and I'll basically just switch you over in the Boxer group, and then we'll have continued check-ins and continued correspondence if you want to, and then you'd be welcome to any of our future Zoom meetings as well.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, so just let me know what you want to do by the end of the week, okay?
Yep, will do.
All right, John, thank you so much.
Yep. Hey, take care. You too.
You too, bye.
Bye.